Singh, our big focus story this hour is about the Jammu and Kashmir government's outlook towards separatists, which seems to be in stark contrast to the centre. Yes, with India suspending cross-border trade with Pakistan along the line of control. In another case of shocking appeasement, the J&K Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has pushed for talks with all stakeholders. She said desperate times require desperate measures. So dialogue with both separatists and Pakistan should happen. Well, while separatists Yasin, Malik and Saeed Ali Shah Geelani, remember, have been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in different money laundering and FEMA cases, many are asking, why is the J&K Chief Minister pushing for talks with these Pakistan proxies? Take a look at the entire story and then we'll open it up for debate.
They attack us. They kill our braves. But Jammu and Kashmir CM Mehbooba Mufti wants dialogue with Pak. If there's something that remains a threat to Union of India, it's Pakistan and their proxies on Indian soil. While on one side, India at UNHRC exposes Pak.
From day one of the formation of Pakistan, since indigenous culture and heritage has been invalidated by the Pakistani ruling elites through systematic ways. First, our Hindu population was forcefully exiled. Secondly, systematic radicalization of our young generation through school syllabus and rise of madrasas, which teaches hatred and violence.
On other, ED summons separatist leaders Yasin, Malik and Saeed Ali Shah in connection with the FEMA cases.
जम्मू कश्मीर में जिस तरह से ये अलगाववादी जो गुट ये कहीं न कहीं आतंकवादियों को धन मुहैया कराने की कोशिश करते रहे हैं। बाकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहा है। निश्चित रूप से कानून का कहीं भी उल्लंघन अगर हुआ होगा तो कठोर कार्रवाई इस तरह के लोगों के खिलाफ कानून में होगी।
See, ADA is doing its own job. I will not comment, but all I know that they are doing their own work. They are doing investigation, and those who are responsible for money laundering will definitely have to face the music.
From shielding terror preparators to lecturing India on human rights and fueling unrest in Punjab and Kashmir, Pakistan has tested India's resolve with its repeated provocations. By promoting terror proxies to inciting hate against India through its agents, Pakistan has tried every trick in the book threatening India's sovereignty.
Now it has been more than 15 years when the case was initially registered. It remains to be seen if the Enforcement Directorate would be able to establish the case and arrest the duo. With video journalist Firdosman, Arish Bilal, NewsX, Srinagar.
Well, let's open this up. Professor Madhav Nalapad, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, will be joining us shortly in our studios, as will Sushil Pandit, live, in fact, also in our studios. But joining us for now on the broadcast is Shabnam Lone. Shabnam, welcome to the program. She's a senior lawyer. She's joining us live from Delhi. Hina Shafi Bhatt, spokesperson of the BJP, also live with us from Srinagar. Welcome to the program, Hina. Also joining us on the panel is Geelani, senior lawyer from Srinagar. If I can begin with you first, Hina, but how do you react to this stand of, Mehbooba Mufti's, which is quite diametrically opposite to your parties at the centre? On one hand, you have, of course, talks put off with Pakistan. You have no talk policy by the centre with separatists. And you have, of course, Saeed Ali Shah Geelani and Saeed Umar Farooq being summoned by the ED for money laundering cases. And yet, the Chief Minister of your coalition government in the state, he now wants to have talks with the separatists. What explains this and how do you react to it?
See, I believe we are in a coalition with PDP. We both are the parties with different ideologies. It is, however, our CM is saying that there should be talks with Hurriyat, they are the stakeholders, but it doesn't mean that we are speaking the same language. We don't mean and we don't agree that we will be having talks with the militants who have been the reason for the killings in Kashmir. Militants cannot be the stakeholders to decide the fate of Kashmir.
But Mehbooba Mufti is saying talks are needed with all stakeholders. She's not specifying anything.
Yeah, that is her point of view. That is her ideology. If you're asking me, we don't agree to that. Yes, we have better stakeholders in Kashmir. We have better people to decide the fate and to decide and talk about the Kashmir issue. But for me, for BJP, and the rest of the country, nobody would agree that Hurriyat, either Sayyid Shah Geelani or Yasin Malik, who are the faces of Pakistan in Kashmir, who have been collecting money on the name of Kashmiris.
Shabnam Lone, come in there. How do you react to this this diametrically opposite stand which seems to be cropping up between the centre and the State Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir with regards to talks with the Hurriyat and other separatist groups?
Absolutely rubbish and nonsense. This is a drama which is being played out from New Delhi. One, you talk what helps you in Delhi, you talk that rubbish here. And in Kashmir, you talk the rubbish that you want to speak. The fact is that you want to speak. The fact is that Kashmir is a festering political wound. It needs a political solution. There is policy paralysis and there is duplicity. Now look here, what was Meenakshi Lekhi, Swapan Das Gupta from BJP, what were they doing in Islamabad? In the land of Hafiz Said, I want to know what Meenakshi Lekhi was doing there. I want to know what Shashi Tharoor was doing there. Now listen, Uday, if some Kashmiri would have been there, if I would have been a part of that delegation, if Gauhar Geelani would have been a part of the delegation, you would have branded us traitors. Now, come on, what's happening? I think BJP, because of Meenakshi Lekhi and Swapan Das Gupta, first needs to apologize to India. They need to apologize to India. On the one hand, you say that Pakistan finances every terror act in Kashmir, that Pakistan is responsible for the topsy-turvy democracy in India. Then tell me, what is this? What is the policy you have, this duplicity policy? Oh, they need to explain it first.
Well, Gauhar Geelani obviously is agreeing with you. He's nodding.
BJP.
But before I get him onto the broadcast, Shabnam, I just want to quickly get a response then from Hina to the points that you've made.
I think how she's reacting is absolutely, I don't agree to that. She doesn't agree that Pakistan is playing the vital role, what is happening in Kashmir. What has happened to Kashmir in decades, Pakistan has the clear...
No, Uday, ask that to Mufti Muhammad Sayyid.
No, that's not the point. Kashmir is a political issue.
If you really want to have an inquiry,
it will be
don't have an inquiry
politically, not with the militants.
Have an inquiry against PDP people, whether they received money from Pakistan or not. Go ask PDP people, ask the CBI to conduct an inquiry against PDP people. Whether many of them received Pakistan funding or not.
You made your point. You made your point, Shabnam. Yeah, Hina, you can quickly complete before I get in Gauhar Geelani.
The point here is like we are not here to talk. India will never talk to a militant. It is a political issue and it will be discussed, it will be resolved politically.
But you know, if it's to be resolved politically, then why are we going to talk with the other stakeholders? Why is there duplicity then, as you're saying? You know, there's a diametrically opposite stand. So how's the political solution going to come across if you don't have the coalition partners agreeing to a policy? Then how will you have other parties also on board, Hina Bhatt?
No, definitely. See, once the center has to take a stand. Both the countries, both the neighboring countries, they really need to peaceful talks. We need a good relationship to talk about India-Pakistan and especially the Kashmir issue, which is only globally talked that India-Pakistan has a problem because of the Kashmir and Kashmir has the problem because of the Pakistan.
I'm being told...
We all are the stakeholders. But
I'm being told Sushil Pandit...
the stakeholders of Kashmir.
I'm being told Sushil Pandit is also joining us live, but I quickly want to get in. Yeah, Gauhar Geelani. Gauhar, you wanted to come in. You were, of course, saying that you agree. I could make out with the point that Shabnam Lone was making.
I think, you know, what my good friend Ms. Hina Bhatt said, you know, she also admitted that Kashmir is a political issue. She also said that New Delhi needs to talk to Islamabad, which makes it a bilateral issue. She also pointed out that globally it's talked about, so that makes it an international dispute. So what Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has said, before that, there was a statement from Dr. Farooq Abdullah, who is a former chief minister. He also said, I quote the same sentiment that Kashmir is a political issue which needs political solution. Even the former home minister, Mr. Chidambaram, said that Kashmir is a unique political problem which needs a unique political solution. I think that denial mode has come out. Now everybody agrees that Kashmir needs a solution. So now there can be different opinions what that solution could be. Coming to another point, when we talk about violence, you have to also consider that today Kashmir received a body of a 6-year-old Kaniza, a little girl who was killed with a police calls it as a stray bullet. But these stray bullets always hit the chests of teenagers in Kashmir. Prior to that, there was this 15-year-old boy, Amir Aziz, in South Kashmir, Amir Nazir, and then also a woman in South Kashmir. So I think these killings are taking place at the same time, and I think it is the ball is in New Delhi's court to start a dialogue. One last point, that in the agenda of alliance agreed upon between the PDP and the BJP, there is a clear reference, there is a paragraph written on that Hurriyat is a stakeholder. This is not Gauhar Geelani from Srinagar saying it. You please read the document of alliance, agenda of alliance, which clearly recognizes Hurriyat Conference as a stakeholder, Pakistan as a stakeholder. You need to ask them the questions when you agree.
Are these all just points then? Are these all just points, Shobnam Lone, which prove the duplicity that you were talking about earlier?
Absolutely. What Shabnam referred to, alluded to, is absolutely relevant, because she also raised very, very important questions that, this speaking of different languages, what suits New Delhi in New Delhi, they speak that language in New Delhi, another language in Jammu, another language in Srinagar, another language in Islamabad. To Pakistan, you say it is no issue. To world community, you say it is a bilateral issue, we will solve it bilaterally. I think this facade needs to be, now it should stop, and we should have a dialogue with all stakeholders.
Okay.
And you always have a dialogue with people who you do not agree
You made your point. Yeah, you made your point now. You made your point now, Gauhar. So I quickly want to get in Sushil Pandit onto the broadcast. He's joining us, of course. He's been listening patiently to what the other panelists have been saying. So Sushil Pandit, your opening comments, your opening thoughts. Where do you stand on the debate? We're talking about the duplicity of certain political parties, and also how diametrically opposite the stand of, the BJP and the PDP is. There's a different outlook of the state government in Jammu and Kashmir, Sushil, and of course the centre has taken a hard stand which has been applauded. But why then is the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir adopting a different stand and trying to, adopt a different policy or advocate a different policy?
Isn't that par for the course? Why are you surprised? In fact, today, when I was listening to my three eminent co-panelists, I realized that the politicians from the valley, the entire political class that they represent, coming from the valley, have hardly any lines separating them. They've all got blurred. Irrespective of which political cap do they wear, they all parrot the same line, that this is a political problem, that this is a problem between India and Pakistan, that we must have bilateral talks with Pakistan in order to sort out Kashmir, that Kashmir needs a political solution. Now this harangue, irrespective of which mouth it is coming from, goes across party lines, and I'm not surprised that even the BJP representative is speaking the same vocabulary, not just the same content. So it is incredible that the 2 years of cohabitation that BJP has had with closet separatists like in the valley has got their own representatives speaking the same language. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, reference to agenda for alliance doesn't mean that we are invoking some gospel truth. Agenda for alliance is a classic document of complete, absolute capitulation, of surrender, of humiliating terms and conditions, one-way traffic, of concessions. Now, these concessions cannot become the criterion to judge any policy. Today, if people have been summoned by ED, it means that these charlatans are now being asked to account for all their shenanigans of the past few years.
Yes.
They were very well known to have transgressed lines. It is now that ED has asked them to account for them. But let me remind you, only money, only hawala, only money laundering is not just the charge. This person called Yasin Malik is actually a murderer.
Yeah, he has much
He's
more
a
serious charges, of
genocider.
course, against them. But you know, at a time when the center's agencies are summoning them for money laundering, which is also a serious charge, how can you advocate for dialogue? Shabnam coming into the broadcast. Yeah, Shabnam.
No. A country, you see, where there is due process of law established. I agree with Sushil Pandit. He is entitled to his point. Now,
he killed the squadron leader of Air Force.
Listen to me. The question is, Sushil, let us get together
I am
today.
entitled to making it completely before you interrupt. Before you interrupt.
Learned anchor asked me to speak.
I am
Don't say
entitled
I
to making my
interrupted,
points.
Sushil. Now listen to me. The question is, when you said 15 years, I'm saying that some heads should roll now. Now, if the case was due from 2002, 15 years on, Geelani Sahab and Yasin are not the ones who sat on it. Now, all the respective governments sat on it. In 2002, there was a PDP and Congress government. Question is, the Chief Minister should be questioned why they were let off the hook. Then there should be the DGs, the IB officers in the state, the raw officers in the state. Some heads have to roll then. You cannot always blame the Kashmiris. It's very easy for you to talk against Geelani all the time. Now talk about accountability. Talk about transparency. Now let the heads roll.
I have a point to that. I have a point to that. I have a point to that. You have raised it very well. But my problem is, Shabnam, you raise this issue of accountability only when I point out about the criminality of these people. You have never on your own demanded that they be prosecuted and brought to justice. Only when I raise these issues, you bring these reasons to deflect the point.
That's a valid point.
Have you ever said that these genociders ought to be brought to justice?
That's a valid point.
When we say
that's a valid point you made, Mr. Pandit. I just want to quickly get in Hina Bhatt. I just want to get in quickly Hina Bhatt and Gaur Geelani for quick points as well, because we don't have much time on the debate left. Hina Bhatt, how do you respond to what Sushil Pandit was saying? Because he's another voice who was, of course, questioning some of the policies and also the kind of capitulation that has happened in the coalition. But he's said, that the points of consensus should not necessarily be looked at for policy making. So, Hina, what will be your outlook now? How will you respond to the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister? Because at the end of the day, you are a coalition partner. If you disagree, you will have to put it on record with her.
Definitely, that doesn't mean we will change the ideology. That doesn't mean we will, what Sushil said, like everybody is having the parrot language. That doesn't mean what CM, Chief Minister Sahiba will speak and BJP will start speaking the same language. What is our ideology? We will stick to that. And it is not only the BJP ideology. If you ask a common man, No, sorry lady, I am not here to defend Hurriyat and I am not here to support you supporting Hurriyat or militants or the killers of Kashmir. I am not here to support them. It is about Jammu and Kashmir that there should not be any more bloodshed.
BJP for the idea of India. For the idea of India, BJP come out of this alliance where you feel that your nationalism is on stake.
Come on the alliance because of the small issues.
We're not really power play.
No, we
BJP show to the world you love India more than power. BJP, no power play. BJP, come on, do this for India.
Okay, so if BJP feels for the idea of India, they should do that, says Shabnam Loan. Gaur Geelani, quickly summing up now, the fact is, should this be just read as rhetoric? At the end of the day, there are two by-elections coming up. in Jammu and Kashmir? Should this be looked as election rhetoric coming in from the PDP chief and not really a policy statement?
No, I think if you leave aside this all rhetoric from all sides, but there's a realization, deep realization in New Delhi also that dialogue is the only way forward. And I think, and I'm hopeful that you will hear in the next coming days that New Delhi is ready for a dialogue with all stakeholders and especially the Hurriyat conference. So because there is a realization that Kashmir is a political problem and it needs a political solution. So whatever Mr. Sushil Pandit or others have to say, it is all rhetoric. They also receive benefits from New Delhi for speaking the language
what the political problem is?
Political problem is that people have a political aspiration. Yeah, I have defined it. I have defined it already in my write-ups. You can read my write-ups.
Okay, interesting.
So can you please tell me?
Interesting. So you believe that it is also rhetoric what other panelists are saying? We'll have to leave it at that. We'll have to leave it at that. It's a far wider topic. I know that requires more than half an hour for dialogue. But we'll have to leave it at that. We'll have to leave it at that. Thank you to our panelists for joining us. I'm sorry, but thank you, Mr. Geelani, for joining us. You've made your points, Mr. Sushil Pandit, Hina Bhatt and Shabnam Lone. Thanks to you as well for being on Nation at 9.